So today I'm going to talk about how to get help in R and how to ask for help. Maybe. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so I know there's a lot of text here. I'm going to walk us through it and kind of tell you what this R documentation does. Because every R function has some help documentation to it. Any R function that is published on CRAN has help documentation attached to it. So let me first show you how to get there. Okay, here we go. So we are in RStudio. And you should have it in the same pane where your viewer is. Your files, your plots, your packages. You should have a help function. So you just click help. Typically, it starts somewhere here. There are various RStudio cheat sheets that'll open it straight up for you. But if you want to look up a specific function, say you want to remember what the ANOVA function does because you perpetually forget it, you can type in the function name here. It doesn't have to be the name of the function. And you can search in a couple places. You can find in the topic. You can also find it in either of these search panels. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom back up here. Here. Okay, to kind of walk us through these pieces. All right, so first at the top, we're just zooming into this pane. You have the name of the function and the library it's in. So here we're looking at the mean function. It is in the base library. And then we have a description of what it does. Here, it's a generic function for the trimmed arithmetic mean. Now, in terms of usage, it includes both the function's name and in parentheses, the named arguments it expects and the order it expects them in. So, as well as if an argument has a default value. So arguments without default value means you have to give them that information. Now, for each of the specific arguments, it'll give you more detail. Like this will tell you what class the thing is. Like an object, a number, a data frame, logical value, etc. And in this aspect here, like with the trim function, it's a fraction of observations to be trimmed from each end of the x before the mean is computed. You'll notice that for the t-test, if you do nothing, like the default is to assume unequal variances, and so it adjusts the degrees of freedom. Fun facts that so you have to change the default settings, or you have to change it if you want it to assume that equal variance is true. So like it's good to look at each function's documentation to just familiarize yourself with it. And these ellipses mean that it allows for additional arguments to be passed to and from the function. You don't have to use the additional arguments, but this is often helpful. And here, in this little piece here, it says value, and that's what the function returns. So the result of whatever operations the function does or calculates. So this can be a single number or a multi-part object, such as a list or a data frame, a plot or a model, tons of stuff. Then it gives you some references, like here we've got Becker, etc., on the new S language, which is R's mom? Ancestor. And so like it'll cite some stuff. It'll also give you also have the option to give it when you write this documentation yourself, you give it the option to suggest similar related functions, as well as write self-contained example code. Not everyone does this. I strongly encourage you to do because it's very helpful to the users to like check to make sure it works and like show you what it's supposed to do. And these examples can use built-in data sets or other R functions. You can also check out the index of the package page to look for demos, vignettes, other stuff that developers and our package makers often include. or aspire to include. These are super helpful. And it will tell you what version of R it requires. So this screenshot's a little older. R is no longer in 3.43. It's in 4.0 whatever. But the most R code that worked in old R should work in new R, except for stuff that uses C++. C++ has some portability issues, and so like every time, like when you compile code and things, so I have a couple colleagues who use C++ in their R code, and so every time R updates, they have to carve out a day to like update their packages. All right. Next. Okay, so here's kind of a key thing that is just a useful skill to have. How to ask good questions in R and any times you have errors. So let's start with a bad one where, oh God, it doesn't work. Not helpful. Because it just doesn't, I don't know what's broken. Pronouns are vague. While compelling to like, is a call to action to help you. But yeah, like, so don't just say it's broken. Say like asking good questions is describing what your goal is and include your code in the error. Not a screenshot, copy and paste the code so that other people can help. Because you've got to remember that people on the internet, they're busy. Stack Overflow is going to be very grumpy if you give a screenshot because that requires somebody else to type it out. And they're not going to do that. Next, so like that's a decent version. That's like baseline. Better is describe your intention and make a minimum working example. So give enough code so like that they could run it, so like you can see enough of like the workflow. Best version is to write a reproducible example. In the cool kids language, this is called a reproducible example. And I'll introduce this concept formally in a bit and teach you some more tools later in this sequence. Other good things to add are to indicate what you have tried and the results of those. Telling people what you've already done serves two purposes. One, it gives them a context. It's good to know what hasn't worked because that can help triangulate the error. But it also indicates that you've actually like put in some effort and that you're not phoning it in. Ask good questions. We're going to keep practicing this because everybody is going to have problems. I will have problems. How do I get this silly little cat to in bed? And show up in every single version. That one took a lot of troubleshooting. But so everybody goes through this. So, pro tips. Help me. Help you. Use code formatting. Include your code for issues with R. As I kind of already mentioned. Copy and paste your code in the error. Show me what you're seeing. Don't just use screenshots. Although, I'd rather you send me a screenshot than send me nothing. See, like, it's broken. Tell me give me your information so I can help you. And your colleagues and friends can help you. Because, a lot of the troubleshooting that I will help people with, it's stuff that I've had the same problems. And the reason why I can solve it faster is because I've already, like, struggled through this specific problem. It's not like I'm a magic wizard lady. It's that, okay, we don't need Tom Cruise, like, looping forever. It's that I've made a lot of mistakes and have learned from them. I still make tons of mistakes, and you'll see it if you look through the markdown code and the, like, track changes for the website. You will see me doing really dumb shit. And, like, usually with the commenting, it's not super clear because I'm terrible at commenting. But it'll be stupid shit that I'm fixing a lot, all the time. So, yes, help me help you. And you'll get better answers when you ask better questions. So, some sources. So, we've got Mina's Data Science in a Box. Oops, I got some goofing. In theory, this should be a link. Jenny Bryan's Stat 535, Modern Drives, the cars. Kieran Healy's data visualization has some really cool info. That, as you can see here, my R code, I broke it. Because I think it's, I'll figure that out, and when you look at the slides later, this will be fixed. So, yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all later.